Hey there, neighbors and naysayers. July 20th, 2023. I don't know if you can see him at my sidekicks down there walking around looking. He's looking for a paint ram lamb. We got a paint ram lamb out here that missed castration somehow. Unfortunately, he kept a paint ram lamb, but he died. So now he's really concerned about having a paint ram lamb to go with the other one. So happy accident is we got a brown and white paint ram lamb out there that he thinks he's going to keep for a ram. I don't see any of the paint ewes, but we got some paint ewes here somewhere. He's got an idea he's going to take that paint ram and breed him to the paint ewes and try to make paint babies, which is an interesting thought, although genetics don't work that way, but it's an interesting lesson, so we're going to do it. My theory around here is if he wants to do, then we're going to do. And it'll be a good lesson for him to learn in the end. Speaking of lessons learned, I'm standing in the shade, by the way. We got a very important lesson to learn here. I made a mistake last year. I made the same mistake again this year. It's not really a mistake, but it's making life a little harder. And wanted to record it in case Ethan's watching this video later, or my special someone is out there watching this. She can remind me next year not to make this case, or in the years going down the road, or make this mistake. But so we graze the sheep on tall grass, we graze the cows on tall grass until we run out of tall grass. Problem is we always still have tall grass about state fair time, and the sheep start getting out. They're hard to keep in. So it just comes to a place where you just want to turn around and go backward, and you want to graze the stuff that the sheep have already grazed tall. So this field, the one across the fence there, I think there's been 3 paddocks so far, maybe 4, 5, that had been grazed tall and now are regrown, and have regrown, and we're regrazing them again. The problem is the cows still have about 3 weeks worth of tall grass, and the cows stay on tall grass great. It's okay that they're going through state fair there because they'll stay, and that doesn't have to go very far from the barn to do that. When I'm gone, and I don't even care if they're there through county fair, to be honest, because it's easier to manage them that way. But problem is we turn these sheep around and stockers, and my mind's always telling me you got to get them stockers on better grass instead of this tall stuff. Their manure is just as good on the tall stuff as it is on this stuff. In fact, it's probably a little more solid, which is probably a good thing. It gets a little thin when we get onto this stuff. So so the problem, I guess I gotta get to the main problem. The main problem is we only have so much of this short regrown stuff, and this field's not indicative of what it is, because that field we didn't graze last time. That's where we bale grazed, or we unrolled, and it was torn up, and we reseeded it. So it looks better than what it should. But then we turn these sheep around and we come through this stuff, and we run out of this pretty quick before it's time for the cows to have been through tall grass and us put them all together. And then we're kind of left hoping for rain and hoping for growth, because we've already grazed half of the farm off with the sheep. We've already grazed a quarter of the farm tall grass with the cows, so that only leaves us with a quarter of the farm that's regrown since the cows have grazed it as tall grass. So we're really squeezing to get through those couple weeks, I guess. It's not months, it's weeks, until everything regrows, and then we're good. Now we could alleviate this by bringing the cows in and feed them hay, but nobody wants to do that in the growing season. But we may have to. I mean, those are just things that you have to consider when you make a mistake, and I've made this one twice. Last year, rain bailed me out, and I was able to get through. I hope that it continues. We're in a rainy patch here. We're down to 80 acres of hay that needs done, and we can't get in the field to do it because it rains every other day. So I think the rain will bail us out. The heat's kind of hurting us, but we got really awesome growth. We got really awesome clover. But I need to not make this mistake again. I need to continue to graze both on tall grass until we run out of tall grass, and then just put them together. The reason we don't graze them together on tall grass is because the fencing requirement is so much harder. I can graze little paddocks with these guys and build it 3-strand in that tall grass, run it over a dozen times with a 4-wheeler before I build the fence, Versus the cows, if I put the cows in them, then it's a way bigger paddock. It's a whole lot more I have to mow down. It's a whole lot more extra posts I have to put in, because I got to put extra posts in for the sheep to stay in on tall grass. It's just a pain to have the two together. Probably more in my mind than it really is. I'd probably be better off, man, once I put these all together next week after. It makes my life so much simpler, because I only have to go to one place. But just don't want to make that mistake again next time. Of course, I've got too many sheep. I just haven't had time. We got too many hogs. I just haven't had time to run to the sale barn. I got some people that want some females ewes and ewe lambs, so I got to pull them off. I got a guy that's wants some processing lambs, got to pull them off. And those, well, that'll happen in time, but until we get through the fairs, my weeks are kind of busy. So I should pull them in Saturday and get rid of some, just because I got too many. But it's one of those things. It's summertime and I've got other things to do, and we're just going to do it until we have a reason to pull them all in. And I got some baby lambs that I hate to go getting rid of ewes until we know. And I hate to, actually I'd like to pull them all in and just get rid of a bunch of lambs and get rid of a bunch of ewes all at the same time, and not two different times. But that always hurts me in the end, because some of the ewes start weaning lambs. They don't have a bag anymore, so I don't know that they're feeding lambs. So then you don't get rid of ewes because you're afraid, oh well, she fed lambs, she's just dried up. So it's catch-22 with sheep. I'm not the best manager of sheep, so I just know that they graze grass and they sell for twice as much as cattle do. So that's why we have sheep. But I guess the point of this video from the start was to record my mistake, and it's, like I said, it's not a huge mistake, but we need to make sure the fences are hotter. We need to make sure that the sheep will stay in a little better. We need to have less sheep, and we also need to graze tall grass until we get to State Fair, which is next week. Probably then we would be all right, and we could put them all together. This will change too next year, because about State Fair time, County Fair time, is when I'll be looking to move cows over to the rented pasture and go on. I don't have that ability right now. So with that, like I said, I'm trying to tell Ethan that I made a mistake, and hopefully, like I said, somebody out there is watching that will remind me to do this next year differently than I'm doing it this year. With that, I'll say, see you next time.